Hello, I'm Brian Fox. Welcome to I Hate Rock Music. And today I'm going to talk about a potentially epic psychedelic hard rock band that existed in 1970 called SHAGRAT, obviously named after a Tolkien character. But they really could have been something. And unfortunately, we only have four full band songs and four acoustic demos to judge them by. But Peter Took, who had left the early incarnation of Tyrannosaurus Rex. And as it turns out, he felt like he was an equal partner to Mark Bolan in that band. It had a lot to do with the sound, and producer Tony Visconti says that's very true because Peter Took played a lot of different instruments and was a really good singer. And one of the reasons why he left Tyrannosaurus Rex is because he kind of wanted to start doing some of his material with Tyrannosaurus Rex, and Mark Bolan refused. So of course he left. But where he went after that is really pretty stunning. By February 1970, he put together a new band he called SHAGRAT, and it has Tim Taylor on bass and Larry Wallace on guitar, that had previously been in a band called the whole Sioux Nation, the entire Sioux Nation. Unfortunately, there aren't any recordings that we know of that group. But Mick Farren was originally part of it as well. So, and then they added Phil Lenoir on drums, who used to be in Black Cat Bones, a band that had at least one album out in the UK, possibly two, I think. But a heavy blues band. And so, anyway, a great lineup: Larry Wallace, Tim Taylor, Mick Farren, Phil Lenoir, and Peter Took on guitar and vocals. And they got together. They ended up playing the Fun City Fest, which was a giant festival in 1970 that 72 that had the MC5 and Hawkwind and the Pink Fairies and a really stellar lineup of bands. And as I've mentioned in other videos, apparently there are recordings of the entire Fun City Festival, and Easy Action Records has the rights to some of them because Pink Floyd's Syd Barrett, ex-Pink Floyd Syd Barrett's band Stars made an appearance as well. And so, and that record came out, and Easy Action released the Hawkwind set. I contacted them, and apparently they're still sitting on the Pink Fairy set. They just don't think there's that much interest. And the Hawkwind record apparently flopped, as did the Syd Barrett Stars record. Of course, it didn't come out under the name Syd Barrett. That probably would help some. But so they did a live set there, and hopefully the recording will come out at some point. But they did their whole set, and also did one other show, and then the band quickly fell apart, and then SHAGRAT continued to do shows, but it ended up being just Peter Took on guitar solo. And the band itself, when the full band was together, they managed to get into Strawberry Studios and recorded 4 songs. And it shows that had they been able to record an album proper and continue, they would have been a very formidable band. They really fit in with the whole Hawkwind, Pink Fairies sound and scene. And I love that whole group of bands, the freak beat bands. And SHAGRAT was up there with the best of them, and pretty wild. Definitely a little crazier than even Hawkwind and the Pink Fairies. And so they recorded 4 songs: Peppermint Flick Stick, Boo, I Said Freeze, Steel Abortion, and one other song. And so I'll include the links below here to these recordings. And so the band kind of fell apart, and then as Peter Took started playing acoustically, they ended up recording 4 more demos that are just acoustic, and they have Larry Wallace on stand-up bass and Dave Bidwell on percussion and tambourine. Dave Bidwell used to be in Chicken Shack, and so there's the potential for another full band to evolve, and eventually there was a new full band, although I'm not sure if they called it SHAGRAT, but there's a bunch of 72 demos that were done by a full band, including members of the Pink Fairies, and possibly that would have been called SHAGRAT as well. But the four acoustic demos were Amanda, Strange Sister, Still Yawning, Stillborn, and Beautiful Deceiver, and they're really quite excellent. You can see why Peter Took wanted to have equal footing in Tyrannosaurus Rex, and that he had a lot to do with their sound. His songs would have really fit in if that band had been a little more democratic. He's quite a talent, and everybody that worked with him declared that he was quite a talent, but he was definitely hardcore into drugs, loved his LSD, and so that was one of the things that contributed to difficulties keeping SHAGRAT together. That's one of the things that contributed to difficulties recording the SHAGRAT material in the studio, and also the fact that by 1972, Larry Wallace was in UFO and Dave Bidwell was in Savoy Brown, so they had other obligations, and one of the reasons why Peter Took ended up just being a solo act under the SHAGRAT name. And Peter Took also managed to sit in some of the festivals. He sat in on as the third drummer with Hawkwind and the Pink Fairies, and so he was quite a fixture. And he's been involved in a lot of interesting projects. But SHAGRAT, wow, some of the recording is not top notch. Some of it's a little bit sloppy, but it's really crazy stuff, and would have been an amazing band. It's too bad they didn't record a full studio album, because a lot of people will be talking about it more. So now all we have left is the CD, SHAGRAT Lone Star, that has all four studio tracks and all four acoustic tracks, and you can tell there is some issues. There are some drawbacks, but mostly it's pretty insane and pretty great. And it's too bad that SHAGRAT didn't exist as a band longer. As I pointed out, later in '72, Peter Took got together with an all-star cast. Russell Hunter and Duncan Sanderson, the rhythm section from Pink Fairies, Larry Wallace, Mick Wayne from Junior's Eyes, who would later become a member. Well, in '72 he was a member of the Pink Fairies, and Twink. Twink always seems to pop up in a lot of different places. So there's some demos from them, and they're pretty solid. And as I say, I speculate it probably would have gone under the SHAGRAT moniker, but I'll post those below as well, so you can check them out. And we'll see if you like SHAGRAT. As I pointed out, if you like the Pink Fairies and you like Hawkwind, then SHAGRAT will probably be right up your alley. But just completely damaged, freak out, beautiful, wonderful British rock of '72 with Peter Took. I'm Brian Fox. Thanks for watching I Hate Rock Music.